speaking of trading, it seems as though South Africans have actually sought to trade not only different commodities, but various asset classes in terms of trying to create wealth for themselves in terms of seeking and pursuing quick returns. Now, this is natural, especially given that 2020 has really been a humdinger of curveballs being thrown left, right, and center, not only through COVID, but even the dual hurricanes that have already made landfall within the United States, having a volatile impact on the markets, our economies, as well as prospective economic growth. To tell us more about what we're seeing in terms of the trading environment in South Africa and how it actually speaks to a new book that will be published, 2020 has been the year unexpected is the title of the book. We joined on the line by Daniel Kibel. He's the founder of CM Trading. Daniel, great to have you with us, and thank you so much for making time. I made a comment to my colleagues earlier on that I'm definitely not a trading type of girl. I have lots of anxiety and heart palpitations and can't deal with too much of the volatility that takes place there. But what have we seen in terms of life pre-COVID and post-COVID, given South Africans' trading capabilities and appetite?
I think that's very interesting. I think I'll start at the end. Firstly, thank you for having me.
Sure.
It's a pleasure to be on with you, Gugu. I think not everybody's a trader. Trading just isn't for everyone, and that's absolutely fine. We've got a time now where the markets are really not very clear as to what's going on. I was listening to your previous interview where the gentleman was saying that stocks are going up, yet we're faced with COVID, and no one really knows what's happening. So if we had a situation previously, pre-COVID, where people were trading and were investing and the markets were, I don't want to call them completely stable because the markets are never completely stable. But right now there's lots of stuff that's going on that doesn't really make much sense, and then it does make sense, and it's an interesting time. Now we're looking at a very volatile market, as we know. We're seeing levels of gold we've never seen before. I'm sure I don't need to remind you that a few weeks ago we were seeing the dollar rand at its highest ever level. Yep. And we're seeing the stock markets fly through the roof, even though there's huge depression going on around the world. Go figure.
You're quite right. Go figure. I was telling a colleague of mine, goodness, we long for the days when Brexit was the main headline item, because it was a lot easier to manage, right? But give us some insight as well in terms of various asset classes that South Africans are looking to trade. I know Forex and Bitcoin are often dubbed as key trading elements, but there's so much more to it than that, right?
There's always so much more, and that's the beauty of trading, that you really have the opportunity to invest in anything you like. And if you allow me to add to that, companies like CM Trading, you can also earn money when values go down. So you don't just earn money if for instance, you wanted to sell gold, you could make money for when gold goes down in value. So that's something that's very important that's maybe not aware to everyone, and companies like CM Trading will offer that. I think when you're looking at the African trader or the South African trader, we're seeing it's been very, very interesting, because since COVID has begun, one would think that maybe people will be less interested in trading. There's maybe a little bit less money, because they're not quite sure what to invest in. What we've seen, and I'm hearing this across the board, is around 30% increase throughout Africa on people investing in companies like CM Trading. Because they're looking for opportunities and they're looking for additional income. The situation on the market is difficult. The economy is not in a good place. Obviously, that's not just in South Africa, but that's all around the world. So people are saying to themselves, you know what? Now we're going to invest more. We will take those heart palpitations that you were talking about a little bit earlier. All right, we'll take that chance. We want to invest our money. We need to invest the money because we need to make that extra money. So some of the more popular things that people have been trading on, certainly as I explained, gold. People have been trading on Google, on Amazon, which has flown through the roof. We've seen this huge, crazy rise in the stock markets, which is theoretically at a basic level is nonsensical, because you've got unemployment anywhere between 20 and 50% around the world. Yet the stock markets have flown, and that's because of just a few shares like Tesla, like Google, like Amazon, like Apple.
That's true. Really driving that performance there. As we wrap up, though, you're about to launch a book, if I'm not mistaken, titled 2020, The Year Unexpected. And I can just imagine some of the shockwaves that you've seen. But how is 2020 so much more different in terms of not only the economic ramifications, but how it translates into trading activity versus what we've seen previously with the global financial crisis, as well as other concerns on the market?
I think if we look at the previous ones, like the huge move in 2008, 2009, where the market completely collapsed, the housing market completely collapsed, that went on for a very long time. What we saw at the beginning of COVID, we saw stock markets fall between 25 to 40%, but incredibly, they've jumped straight back up afterwards, which once again doesn't really make that much sense. So 2020 is very different. It's a different world we live in. You can ask the question, how is it possible that when the markets, when there's such high levels of unemployment, such huge uncertainty in the market, where we have no vaccination, when we do have a vaccination, which we assume will be in the next few months, we have no idea how COVID's going to react to it. Yet despite that, stock prices are going up, price of gold is going up. Well, that's a safe haven, that makes sense. The dollar rand, it flew up, as I said, it almost hit 20 previously.
Yeah.
So this year is very, very different. And you add into that Mr. Trump.
Yep.
And his unique way of looking at the world, I can put it like that, and his effect on the financial markets, we're in uncharted territory, and which makes it amazing for people like me who love trading, for my company who, CM Trading, as I said, our numbers have gone through the roof because traders are more interested in trading because there's volatility, because the markets are moving. But if you will allow me just one last point, people need to be aware. Yes. In volatile markets, risk is very high.
Yes.
And it isn't for everyone. Exactly. And that goes back again to what you're saying right at the beginning. People who can't afford to lose money should not be investing. Not now.
You've really left it off on a solid point, and thank you so much for encouraging responsible investing as well as trading there, Daniel. Well, we look forward to getting an update from you towards the end of the year as to what new insights have occurred in terms of business activity, and of course more insight into your book 2020, the year unexpected. That's Daniel Kibel. He's the founder of CM Trading, giving us some insight into how us as South Africans are managing our panic as well as pursuing further interest in the market.